This is a football show. Now, Ralf Rangnick admitted this week that Manchester United will be happy just to qualify for the Champions League this season. Well, now they've slipped out of the top four after being held to a draw by bottom club Burnley. Well, United boss Ralf Rangnick wasn't happy with the disallowed goals, particularly the second for Paul Pogba's foul in the build-up. He said, "We scored 3 goals, and I thought especially the second one that was disallowed. I watched it in the locker room and the linesman flagged foul, but he flagged it 10 seconds after the incident. This was a very soft decision, I must say. In the end, 1 point for a performance like this is just not enough." A draw for Manchester United against Burnley, it's not good enough for them, is it really? How disappointing a result is that for Ralf Rangnick?
Very disappointing. I think it's similar to what's happened under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They were getting away with things. They were getting decent results without putting in good performances. And that only lasts for so long. First half last night, they did okay. But second half, a little bit like against Middlesbrough in the Cup, they were poor, and they allowed Burnley to come back into the game. The game's 90 minutes long. You can't expect to play well for 45 minutes and to beat anybody, whether that be in the Cup or in the Premier League. This is not just, down to Ralf Rangnick. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, yes, I know he finished second, in one of obviously in his spell. But are Manchester United better than they were when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over, when Mourinho left? The spirit might be better, but not an awful lot. But performances aren't particularly better. And you've got to have good performances over the course of time to get the results.
Yeah. Why are we seeing this contrast between first and second half performances then?
No idea. That has to come down to attitude and mentality. Manchester United's defence isn't great. It does look very, very shaky. It really doesn't look solid in any way, shape or form. Players are underperforming. They have an abundance of world-class talent in their side, but they're not playing well. They don't look particularly together. They don't look particularly organised. And like under Solskjaer, they will win games because they have great players. And when those great players perform from time to time, or they all click, they can be devastating. But you only get away with that for so long. Burnley were resolute, maybe a little bit fortunate with the disallowed goals, but they worked hard, they were organised, and in the second half, they caused Manchester United problems.
Cristiano Ronaldo starting on the bench. What did you make of that?
Well, at 37, he can't play every single game, can he? You have to accept that he's going to be left out from time to time. And let's be honest, the way that Burnley play, which is quite robust, he probably looked at Edinson Cavani and thought, well, look, he's going to close people down. He's maybe going to work in behind and away from home and do those things for us. And that's maybe why he chose Cavani. It's not a bad replacement, is it, to bring in Edinson Cavani? You're not necessarily weakening the side. You're just changing the dynamic slightly. Yeah,
he has been criticised in the past for the way he leaves the pitch. He again ran straight off. As a player, how much responsibility do you have to go over to the away fans, or is it simply down to personal choice?
No, I think you have to respect the fans. They travel, they pay a lot of money, they give up a lot of time, they support you through thick and thin. If you have a bad game or it doesn't go your way, does it really cost you anything, to go over and just and thank them? For giving up that time and that money and that effort that they've put in? It doesn't. Again, we talked about it earlier on, the morals in football, they're not always there, are they? I think no matter what, you should always go over, whether you want to or not, whether you're going to get booed by your fans, and that's happened from time to time. You should always go over and just show the fans some appreciation for their support.
And then we get on to Paul Pogba. His first Premier League goal in over a year. OK, where are we at with him and United? What do they try and do? Do they try and get him a contract in place here, or is it time that they let him go? What do you think?
I guess it depends on who's going to be the new manager and what the new manager wants. Ralf Rangnick is obviously only the interim manager. I think all eyes are now looking at Mauricio Pochettino, and looks like he might be free at the end of the season. Why they didn't go out and get him in the first place, I have no idea. This is Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs, in the world still. If they wanted him, they should have gone and got him. Whether he was available or not, you make him available, by forcing the issue. it looks like Pogba, will have all the options to walk away, obviously, and do what he wants to do. I guess if Manchester United really wanted to keep him, they would have put a contract on the table by now that maybe looks like they are resigned to losing him.
Yeah. So, OK, United, 5th now. They're only a point behind West Ham. They have a game in hand. But then 3 points behind them, Arsenal and Tottenham with even more games in hand. So where are we at with them and their top 4 chances?
It's going to be very, very difficult. It's a little bit like the bottom end of the table, isn't it? It's very, very congested because of all the COVID issues. Everything's a little bit out of kilter, with some teams having 1 game in hand, some teams having 2 games in hand. So it's a little bit disjointed at the moment, your true position in the table. But we've seen, West Ham are going to fight to the very, very end. Tottenham seem to be improving all the time. Arsenal are still a little bit indifferent at times, but they will think that they have a real chance. So it's going to be very, very tight from now until the end of the season. But the sort of form Manchester United are in at the moment, you'd have to say that those other teams will be thinking, there's no reason why we can't overtake them.
As for Burnley, a battling point against United, they would have come off the pitch only to find that Newcastle had won. But they do have games in hand. I guess one of the bright spots for them was the performance of Wout Weghorst. How key will he be in this battle against relegation for them?
It will be absolutely huge, literally. What is he, 6'7"? And I think so. They have to use him, use his strengths. We saw last night that obviously he's a good player, laid in or set the goal up for Jay Rodriguez. So I think, yes, he is going to be vitally important. Sean Dyche's knowledge, experience of being at the wrong end of the table, along with a lot of those players, they will fight tooth and nail till the very, very end. They've flirted with relegation in the past. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very, very tough for them to get out of this situation, but you guarantee they will give absolutely everything possible to get out of this and will make it as difficult for everybody else as possible.